Hi everyone, I'm Seokwa and I'd like to go over sociolinguistics by introducing my research on how language and culture shape ethnicity in different ways. I'll go over introduction, literature review, method, results, and discussion. According to the research, there are over 1 million international students in the United States, and there are 200,000 international students in Korea. However, are international students same as those who spend most of their lives in their home countries, or immigrants who share the same heritage? There is limited research on the diversity of their identity, as they're often broadly assumed to fall into a single category. Therefore, my research question goes: do people of the same race but with different cultural and linguistic backgrounds share the same ethnicity? If not, how do they differ? Moving on to literature review, how is ethnicity different from race? Contrary to race, which is biological, ethnicity is acquired through social contexts. Therefore, even though people have the same race, if they have different cultural backgrounds, this might shape their identity differently. According to Lee 2015, Korean students who were born in Korea but have studied in college in the United States view themselves as in-betweeners instead of complete Koreans. Previous research demonstrates that study abroad experience shapes ethnic and cultural identity differently, which causes study abroad students to demonstrate in-betweenness or identity transformation as border crossers. People who live abroad may cultivate their own distinct culture, which is addressed acculturation, especially given the individuals who have lived abroad for a considerable time undergo emotional acculturation within the host country. Moving on to the participants, I recruited three types of participants. One, Korean American. Two, Korean early study abroad returnees. And three, native Koreans. Korean Americans are who were born and raised in the United States or born in Korea but left for the United States when 3 years old. Korean early study abroad returnees, ESA returnees, were born and raised in Korea but went to high schools and university in the States. And native Koreans are the ones who were born and raised in Korea and spent most of their lifetime in Korea. Moving on to the procedure, I conducted interview. There were two types of question. The first type of question was regarding ethnicity. Participants were instructed to watch the video right before the interview and to share their opinions. The video was about the trend of international students and Korean Americans temporarily visiting Korea to access medical services due to high cost of health care in the United States. And two, how they ethnically identify themselves and what factors they think contribute to their ethnic identity. And three, how others, including their friends, acquaintances, strangers, and family, identify their ethnicity. And lastly, whether they had a chance to come across Koreans with different cultural backgrounds and what their experience was like. And the second type of question was about their linguistic background. So the fifth question was which language is most comfortable for them in terms of reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Next, what language they use with their friends and family, and how they behave and feel emotions differently depending on the language. And lastly, whether there were any critical events that they experienced regarding using Korean and English. So moving on to the results, regarding how they identify themselves, native Koreans turned out to they think they're 100% Korean, While ESA returnees revealed that they feel like they're in-betweeners but closer to Korean, and Korean Americans said they think they're 100% American but acknowledge Korean heritage. How others identify themselves, Native Koreans said they are perceived as Korean 100%. ESA returnees said Americans identify them as Korean, while Native Koreans identify them as half American. And Korean Americans indicated that random Americans identify them as Korean, while their friends identify them as American. And regarding what factors contribute to their ethnicity, Native Koreans answered citizenship, cultural understanding, language proficiency, and contribution to one society. ESA returnees said cultural understanding and language proficiency. And lastly, Korean Americans said educational background and where people were raised. Regarding language proficiency and use, Native Koreans indicated that they're Native Korean and they uses Korean every day. And ESA returnees addressed that they use Korean with their Korean friends and family, but they use English also with their friends who they met in America. And Korean Americans mentioned that they use Korean at home with their parents if they cannot speak English fluently, but they mostly use English at school or work. And regarding behavior, Native Koreans said they feel more authentic in Korean. ESA returnees said they feel more carefree in English. And Korean Americans said they feel authentic in English. So lastly, moving on to discussion, results indicate that individuals with the same racial background can experience varied ethnic identities based on their cultural and linguistic contexts. While all three groups of participants are often categorized as the same ethnicity in some societies, it is important to acknowledge the differences and appreciate this diversity. This perspective also underscores the underestimated ethnic diversity. Future direction could be to explore Koreans with the same cultural and linguistic backgrounds, but with different biological races. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.